Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to In Conversation. I am your host, Lorraine Penduka, and I'm excited that you could join me this afternoon. I'm looking forward to the conversation that we are going to have. I was supposed to be joined by our incredible guest, the Executive Director of ALMA, which is the African Leadership and Management Academy, but we had a last minute change. So it's just going to be me. So instead of an interview, we're going to have a solo masterclass where we're going to talk about or have honest conversation about the realities, the opportunities, and the way forward for the Zimbabwean job market. And we are going to cover a number of topics today. We're going to look at the real state of play in Zimbabwe's job market. We're also going to have a look at the global trends and what skills are there that are actually needed. We're going to also have a look at our Work Readiness Program. As you might know, we will be hosting our first cohort of our Work Readiness Program in July. So we're going to talk a bit about that. And most importantly, what can we do starting today to position ourselves for remote work and local opportunities? So we're going to have a nice discussion going forward about all of these things. So this is the part where we look at the reality of what's happening in the Zimbabwe job market. As you know, billions come in terms of remittances coming from overseas that make up to 25% of the foreign currency earnings that Zimbabwe gets. And this is coming from outside the diaspora. So from the World Bank projects, it says that the Zimbabwean economy is going to rebound to around 6% growth in 2025. And this was supposed to be supported by agriculture, mining, and services that are there. But this is where the contradiction is because some of these industries are expanding and telling us that in black and white, this is actually what is happening on the ground. But we know in Zimbabwe right now, the unemployment rate is very high. According to the statistics that I managed to find from the Zimbabwe National Statistic Agency, it says that young people age 15 to 24 are unemployed. And for those between the ages of 15 to 35 age group, it's about 46.1%. And that's a huge gap. That is a huge gap. So for the 15 to 24, it's actually 58.2%. That is what they reported. So if we allow that to sink in, so expanding industries are there, but there's a massive skills gap, and almost half of the young people are not employed or are in training. Zimbabwe has the hustle economy where people are doing small jobs, small businesses, and they are solopreneurs. They're doing it for their survival. So what is the missing link? Right. It's not that Zimbabwe doesn't have any degree holders. I remember reading an article when Midlands University had their graduation ceremony, and about 6,000 graduates were being pushed out into the job market, but there is no job market, is there? So these are the kind of discrepancies that we are looking at, and what can be done for those job seekers finding alternatives so that they can earn a living, that they can build and create a career for themselves. So there has to be a link that sits between what is being learned in universities and what the employers actually need in the workspace. So if we look right at the various global trends that are there, and we also look at the local trends. According to some surveys that I managed to have a look at, there are particular skill sets that are needed in the global market, where we're not looking at Zimbabwe specifically. In the global market, employers are looking for communicators, people who know how to communicate. They're also looking for people who know how to do team collaborations. They are looking for professionalism and strong work ethics. What kind of work ethics do you have? They're also looking for people who are adaptable and they are willing to learn. So, which means that old statement where people say, well, it's not part of my job description, doesn't work, because now they're looking for people that can adapt, people that can learn new things. So having soft skills is no longer a nice to have. This is something that is required globally by employers, and they need you to have that as you enter into the job market. In the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report from last year, it cited that analytical thinking is the number one core skill employers want, right? And that is analytical thinking, the ability to see a situation, a problem, analyze it, come up with a solution to it. So that's what they're looking for. They're also looking for people who are resilient. So the days of complaining, the days of, oh, this is tough. Yes, in the workplace, in the job market, it is tough. We need to be resilient in what we do. We need to be flexible, right, in the changing demands, the changing requirements within the workspace. You need that flexibility and agility to do that. And now that we are in a technologically advanced age, then the technical skills become increasingly important. And we are looking at knowing the use of AI, the big data, cybersecurity, and just basic technological literacy. We can't run away from it. And this is where, governments really need to come into play and help in terms of developing infrastructure so that more people have access to connectivity, to data, to the internet, to be able to effectively utilize these tools and technologies. Now let's have a look at the Zimbabwean industry itself. What are they saying? And the Herald, which is a local newspaper in Zimbabwe, reported a few months ago that government had raised some serious concern over a growing disconnect between the academic qualifications and practical skills that are required in the industry. And we've heard about this in the other conversations that we had in other nations, that there just seems to be a disconnect between academia and the real world. So the minister said, and I quote, that what we discovered was sobering. In mining and manufacturing, we face shortages in geologists, mining engineers, artisans, and technicians. In agriculture, there's a deficit in modern agronomic practices, mechanization, expertise, and agribusiness management. So that is the local message that is there. And it's clear that we have a shortage of hard skills. And the Zimbabwe economy is leaning on mining, it's leaning on agriculture and manufacturing to build its economy. So there is a deficit in terms of the modern business management practices that are needed to build and grow these sectors. So at the same time, there's also that major shift happening where there is foreign investment that is coming into manufacturing in Zimbabwe. So there is an emerging trend of jobs that are going to become available, and because there's the capital that is coming in, so the talent cannot be left behind. So we need to upskill ourselves. So this is the part where bridging always sounds like a nice idea. And let me be specific about what that actually means. So the people who walk into a workplace and thrive are not necessarily the ones with the highest grades, right? We learn to go to school, study hard, and you'll get a good job. And the top performers in our schools are not necessarily the top performers in the workplace. So they're the ones we are looking for, are the ones that know how to communicate in a professional environment. We're looking for people that can adapt to new tools without being shown 10 times, to do this task. We want people that understand how to solve problems before passing them up the chain. So you are a person that can actually solve problems, and you don't wait to be told to solve those problems. And they need people that show up, deliver, and collaborate. So this is what is missing in the middle between academia and what is happening on the ground in real life. And that is why we as HireMe Africa came up with our Work Readiness Program. And we have designed it in such a way that the program equips school leavers, graduates, early professionals with practical real-world competencies that they need. And these may include professional communication. How do you send a proper email out there? How do you talk to your bosses? How do you talk to your teammates, your workmates that are there? So we will equip you with the skills to know how to communicate in the workplace, and also your workplace behavior, what will be expected of you. So the importance of emotional intelligence, learning what does that mean? How do I self-regulate? How do I show empathy? How do I build relationship in a professional environment? We also teach you the collaboration in digital tools and how to use them in remote or hybrid settings, knowing what technologies are there, what platforms are being used that can connect you even globally, not just in the local environment, because now people work remotely, people work hybrid, and there's certain tools that they use. So we'll give you insight into some of these tools and how you can use them. We also have a look at personal branding and how to position yourself for the roles that you want. So that professional image that you need to have, how do you carry yourself? How are you going to network out there? And obviously the confidence to be able to sell yourself in that manner. We also help you navigate your career and how to make those strategic decisions, and not just to apply for any role because you're desperate for a job, but being intentional and strategic about the moves that you make. So we will be launching our first cohort in Zimbabwe in July, and we are very excited about it. The first cohort, the sessions begin on the 4th of July. So this is the wonderful opportunity for you to immediately sign up. We shall leave the details on how to sign up on all our social media networks. Even after this episode on the YouTube, we are going to place the link for you to sign up for the Zimbabwe cohort. So if you're in and around Zimbabwe, our sessions are online, so you can join from Gweru, you can join from Kadoma, you can join from Binga, you can join from Lupane, and be able to take part in our work readiness program. So we're starting this in July, and registrations are already open, so you can sign up for it. And because we know that not everyone is ready to commit to a full cohort, or you're not sure whether what we're going to offer you is something that you need and something that you're looking for, then we have free masterclasses that are coming up in the month of May and also in the month of June that will give you insight of what to expect in our work readiness program. So our free masterclasses are going to be on the 29th of May on a Friday from 9 until 1 p.m. So come through, it's free, and get to hear what are some of the skills, what are some of the topics that we cover in our work readiness programs, who gives you some insights that will immediately help you make those few changes in the way that you have been presenting yourself and planning your career into something that you can take away at the end of these sessions. So this is going to be short, but it's a high value session and you need to be there. It'll give you a taste of the core skills that our work readiness covers. So if you're here and you're thinking, I am educated, I have a degree, but why am I not getting hired? Then the answer will be filled at that masterclass. So I look forward to seeing you all there. I will be there. I will be taking the masterclass alongside the wonderful and staff members of ALMA. They will be there. We're going to have awesome discussions around job hunting, about the realities of the Zimbabwean job market and how you can set yourself apart and begin a career there. Alternatively, if you're looking to work remotely, how are you going to position yourself to work in a remote environment, in a remote team? What are the requirements? How are you going to apply? We're going to discuss and have a look at that. So now, if you have a question, like I get asked a lot of times, can I actually work remotely from Zimbabwe for another company overseas? And the answer is yes, but you need to be strategic about it. I know several people who work for American companies, for example, and they work purely remotely, but they also have to adhere to the hours, the business hours that are in America. So sometimes that may look like starting work at 3 p.m. and finishing at 1 a.m. in the morning, but you are actually working and earning your pay and your salary in a global rate, which puts you at a bigger advantage than if you're getting a local salary. So it is possible. So across the continent, you do get independent contractors who are in high demand. And these are in the fields of IT, in digital marketing, in graphic design, in finance. And the whole freelance community is there. So freelancing on a global platform, it remains one of the strongest USD earning parts for Africans in 2026. So if you are on platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, those are the platforms that you will find a lot of these people are trying to get jobs from, and some are actually getting them. So the more jobs that you get, the higher rating that you get. And according to recent data, it's about 42% of surveyed African remote workers earned between 1,000 and 2,000 US dollars per month. And then another 14% earned over 3,000 per month. So this is quite life-changing income when you're living in Zimbabwe. And this is why, if the local economy cannot accommodate the graduates, then it is up to us to prepare them to go and compete in the global market. So let us just look at other research that shows that maybe 70% of gig workers across platforms are micro earners. So they make less than $20 per month. And this is because they have not yet figured out how to position themselves in the high value roles. And this is something that we want to look at So there's a difference between the one that is earning about $50 to the one that's earning $1,500. And it's not just about technical skills, it's about professional presentation. How do you position yourself? How does your profile look? How does your portfolio look? How do you pitch yourself when it comes to the high value and profile jobs? Because when you go to these platforms, some of them want to have an interview or want to meet up with you before they give you the work. So this professional presentation needs to be top notch. Your portfolio needs to be top notch. So you need to make that presentation one that will blow them away, that will wow them. And it's also about understanding how to scope work and communicate value. How do you communicate what you bring to the table as a professional? These are the things that you need to consider and the things that you need to look at. It's also about building trust with a client who is not in the same room as you. How do you have that rapport, especially online? How do you develop that communication? It's different when you're in person, where you can pick up verbal cues, you can look at the person's expression. You just get a much deeper sense when you're in person than you do when you are online. So knowing how to build that trust, that rapport with the person that is on the other side of the screen. And also knowing what services are actually in demand globally. Are you positioning yourself to be in the few percentage that actually know how to do a specific job? It's all about positioning. So that is exactly what our work readiness program equips you to do. We do not just teach you how to use the tools, we also teach you how to operate as a professional in the global market. And you need to learn how to now compete in the global market, right? So you need to know how that looks like. So if a remote work has been a someday goal for you, then let us encourage you to treat it as a now goal, but with the right preparation. So come through to the masterclass. Let us have a discussion on that. We also get a lot of questions from students and recent graduates about which field to pursue. And I'm going to give you a framework that combines global trends and local needs that are already there. Because sometimes you take a university program because that was the only one that is available. You need to go to university and the program that you wanted to study is full or they do not accept you and you have a second or third choice that you are making. But do you really know enough about that industry, about that field? Where is it going? What are the career prospects for me? What can I use this degree for? What can I use this diploma for? So these are the questions that you need to consider when you are pursuing any degree program or diploma or whatever it is that you are studying. Do that in-depth dive, speak to people so that you are informed about the decision that you are about to make. So we're going to look at 3 lenses like to look through when choosing a path. The first one, what is growing globally? What are the global trends that are there? So right now, we'll be looking at AI. AI just seems to be the buzzword right now. So AI, data, cybersecurity is also quite big right now. I'm sure you've seen in the headlines some of the hacks that are happening to major global companies. They're being hacked. People's information is being leaked. Companies are getting locked out of their system. So this is a crucial industry that is fast growing, and you need someone that knows how to move with the times, keep up to date. With the advancement of technology, crime is also advancing. So cybersecurity is quite big. Digital marketing As you know, the influencing of people, social media, you need to know digital marketing. So these are some of the key global trends in terms of what's growing. Project management is also essential. And if you think of Africa, Africa is building. There are lots of projects that are happening, infrastructure developments that are happening. So project managers are in high demand. So these skills travel across borders. So you can do them remotely, you can do them hybrid. And these are the ones that I would recommend that you have a look at in terms of studying. Let's look at what is needed locally in Zimbabwe. So mining engineering, we know there's a lot of mining that is going around. Some of it is illegal mining that has dire repercussions for the environment. So if we have skilled people who are in those mines, then we can mitigate some of these issues that are going to crop up definitely later on. So mining engineering, agribusiness management, the farms, commercial farming is going to go big again, once again in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of investment that is going there. So in the agribusiness management, knowing how to manage commercial farms, food processing technologies. Africa is moving away from just exporting raw material, but now we are exporting value-added products to the global market. So the food processing is also something that is going to come up. Renewable energy, we're moving away just from electricity. Now we're looking at other means, the green economy. We're looking at renewable energy that is environmentally friendly. So these sectors are attracting real investments in Zimbabwe right now. And these are the sectors that you need to look at if you are job hunting. The third component of this framework is what actually matches your strengths. It all sounds good to hear that, oh, you can do cybersecurity or you can go into agriculture, but is it something that you are naturally good at? Do you have strengths where you are going to shine and be of value in that field? So do not chase a field just because it pays well. If that means that you will burn out in 6 months, in a year, you are dragging yourself to work, right? Gone are those days where people had to do what needs to be done. People are now looking for more value in terms of what does it give back to me? Am I making a difference? People want to make a difference in the jobs that they do and not just be stuck behind a desk and wondering where their life is slipping away to. So choose something that you are passionate about, and also consider pairing things. For example, a degree in agriculture plus digital marketing skills, right? So you are bringing value to the agribusiness by the digital skills that you have on how to market your products and your services. We can have a look at those who have a background in economics, and then you can link that up to with data analytics, for example. So value in consulting, in policy, and in finance. So now you are by combining these two, you adding more value, you're becoming more broader minded in terms of how you look at things, how you solve problems, and it'll give you more opportunities in terms of the job market. Maybe you're studying nursing, so maybe you can add health informatics to your nursing degree or your nursing qualification. And this value is in the growing the health tech space, right? Because we're talking about how you need to be technologically savvy. So now you're not only just doing nursing, but you are adding informatics to it. And that puts you at a bigger advantage because now you know how to utilize these tools. So you do not have to choose between global and local. You can build a skill set that works for both, that allows you to play in the Zimbabwe field, that allows you to play globally in other regions of the world. So let me leave you with one thought today, that the Zimbabwean story that gets told out there, the one of struggle, the one of solopreneurship, the one where you cannot build a career in Zimbabwe, that story, we can rewrite it. So it's a story that we can rewrite in this very room by the preparation that we have, where instead of the brain drain that is happening, we are actually exporting our skills and talents, but the remittances is coming back to the country of your birth, the country where you belong to, but you are still competing in the global market. I think the fact that the world has just opened up is wonderful, because you can have the benefits of being in your local environment and yet being able to get a paycheck that is a global paycheck that is way more than what the local market can offer you. So now we need to start thinking globally in terms of how we are going to compete as Zimbabweans. So we cannot control the economy. We cannot control the hiring freezes that are happening, but we can control how ready we are when the opportunity shows up. So here's what I invite you to do today. You can head to the comments and tell us what is the one skill you are committing to build in this coming month as we are preparing for the cohort. Number two, I would love for you to register for our free masterclasses that are in May, the 29th of May, it's a Friday, and on the 12th of June, which is also another Friday, we are going to be at the Alma campus, and that is in Marlborough. So the links to the events will be there on the description. So this is specifically designed to give Zimbabwean professionals a clear advantage in both local and global job markets. So I look forward to seeing you there, to hosting you there with the team at Alma. We are really excited as we prepare for it. And lastly, look out for the registration for the July Work Readiness Program that is starting on the 4th. That's the first session. So make sure you register and sign up. So this is your first step toward bridging the gap we talked about today. And lastly, you can also sign up on the HireMe Africa platform at hiremeafrica.com so that you can start creating a professional profile and start connecting with employers. So share this video with someone in your network who needs this. Not everyone gets access to this kind of information that I shared today. And we are doing another episode in 2 weeks. Dr. Chundu will be here with us, so we are still going to have that conversation with him to get an expert viewpoint, since they are in leadership, they're in management, and they'll talk a little bit more about their programs that they have. So between now and then, go build something that makes Zimbabwe proud. So I'm your host, Lorraine Penduka. Thank you so much for your time, for joining us, and I hope these insights have been valuable to you, and continue to build a Zimbabwe that we can all be proud of. So see you at the next live that we are going to have. Have a wonderful week and have a blessed remainder of the day.